if you are reading one record, let's say there is one employee. For this employee, I can write some loop program. For one record, okay, I can write one other program that can run for some time. So there is one employee number is coming. So I want to go to other place and then find out for this employee how many last 12 months salaries are there and do some calculation one by one. Okay, so that is generally a loop programming. So generally in the big limitation of the Informatica, not only Informatica, all the ETL tools, is they cannot support the loop programming like how PL SQL supports. Example, PL SQL supports cursors. What is cursor, loop, all is the same thing actually. So if I am reading one record, say when I write a program, in normal case Informatica what it does, okay, so when you write a program, you are taking the data from, let's say if I get one record 1, 2, 3, salary something, okay, then it will go to the target as it is. Then you can drop it, okay, and you can, if you join with other table, you may get one more record also. But when the record, when I am processing, for this record, I need to go to other table and then write some programming. Take, let's say, last 12 months salaries and then do calculate, and whatever output you get from this program, then I want to put here. Let's say I got some number output from this program and then I want to put here and then throw output. Then again take the second record and write some loop program. Whatever output you get, put the number here and then throw it. So that is not possible in Informatica. Okay, because Informatica, if you see the commit we already discussed. Okay, you read it and then load it. Okay, so when you are reading, okay, just to recap, if anybody not, because yesterday class I have not recorded, they will ask me recording again. Okay, so what is that? I'm just for recording purpose I am just recapping the commit. Okay, so when you read it and committing, so when you are committing the data, how many types of commits we have? 3: source, target and user defined. Source means by default what is the target based, and when you say target based commit, once your data, some number of records loaded into target, you will commit it, and that will be decided by the commit interval. So if you choose target, after by default what is that number? 10,000. So for every 10,000 inserted in the target, it will commit for 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. But if you choose source based commit, once 10,000 records are extracted from the source, it will be committing there. But there is no guarantee when you read 10,000 records from the source, whether 10,000 may go, 0 may go, or 1 lakh may go. Well, what logic you are keeping later, we don't know. So that's why how many records you commit in the target will not guaranteed by the source based commit. The other one is your user defined. What is user defined? How can you take the control of the commit and rollback in mapping in the workflow? By creating the transaction control, and in that we will be writing the program. Okay, so whether it is when you want to commit and all that. So whenever you are whenever you are using the transaction control, and immediately your session property will become user defined. And then in the transaction control, we are defining when it has to be committed. We are selecting, okay, some particular time I want to commit. So it will take the control of this particular one. Now, in this example, whenever transaction control you are using, and if your target database is a table, it will just take and commit. But if you have a target as a file, what is that benefit you have? Whenever you use a target as a file, and for every commit, okay, a new file will be created. In the mapping when you are running, if you are mapping transaction control committing for 10 times, your file will be creating 10 times. So means for every commit 10 files. So all the file names are same. Let's say you are creating 10 files, but all the file names are A, then last one only will be left, remaining will be overridden. So Informatica supports what that option? Can I use the file names? Can I take the file names within the mapping? Yes. So by creating the file name column in the target, okay, so this is the column name we have created by clicking this button. So I can pass the file name to the target from the mapping itself. So when every commit it is creating the file, so if you can write a program to dynamically pass your file name to this, so that one commit one file, this is the file name, second file second commit, second file name, like this we can create multiple files with a single mapping with a different names. For that what are we doing? We are reading the data, sorting, and we are comparing current to previous department number. Whenever there is a new department comes, okay, I am committing it. So when you run it, we are writing every unique department records to one file. Means it is working like a script. Okay, in case you have 100 customers, some millions of customers from each and every country, so the requirement is I want to write every country customers data into one file. You may have 2 countries or 100 customers. I don't know how many countries are there. It should be dynamically done. That will be done using transaction control. Okay, that is just recap. Maybe further. If you create file name multiple files, what happens? If you create in a different folder, okay. But to have a file, if you create one more file, it will overwrite the previous one. You will see the latest one, old one. It is a Unix in Windows formula. If you create one more file, it will overwrite. That's all. Now coming to Java, as we just discussing, read data from one line and then there is no way I can create the loop. Okay, and for that we have a Java. So Java can be used in multiple places. Okay, many times in the many organizations. Okay, one ETL limitation is there is no loop programming that Java is going to solve. The second one is in very bigger banking places. Generally, when we are loading data to the target data warehousing, generally we should not keep the data as it is. Say for example, you are working in a Swiss bank. So you are working on a ETL. Data is coming from the OLTP, you are loading into warehouse. If I am able to see your customer number, customer address, phone, and then your bank balance, then you are gone. So that's why every time in a most of in the banking sector, when we are storing data in the data warehousing, okay, we'll mask the data. Okay, that is called obfuscation. Means every record, whatever columns, based on the columns, generally we will mask the data. We don't store the data as is, we'll convert, we'll mask it into different. All the banking they will do. Otherwise, I can have the customer numbers, have the bank balances also. Once it is out, then gone. So mostly Informatica supports by default data masking. Okay, there is one transformation, okay, for the data masking, but organizations will not use it. What is data masking? So that algorithm is written in Informatica. So any person who knows about that algorithm maybe decode that value and then see it. That's why organizations will not go. So that's why every organization will write their own encrypted algorithms for the data masking, and mostly they will write in the Java, and it is the time for ETL people to use that Java program here to mask the data which are loading. Means organizations Java programs which are written to mask or encrypt the data, we have to use in Informatica. That will be the requirement. So generally it won't support unless you have a Java. So that's why people mandatorily ask for the Java transformation, they introduce it. Okay, so now I'll show one simple example how the Java works and all that. So if you know the Java knowledge, okay, otherwise just leave it. But I'm showing it how it works. I'm just reading data from a table here. So this time I'll just take the employee table. So when I run it, okay, I can just take the data and then load into target one. So now I'll give you one simple example. Now I am reading the data. When I am loading the data to target, every employee number I want to write 100 times. Just to imagine what will be the solution. So you don't know Java transformation, but my requirement is I am reading data 7369 some numbers. Every record I want to write to target 100 times. What do you have to do now? So this data should be written 100 times to the target. 100 times. Let's say I have 7369. It should be written, inserted 100 times. The only way is, you have to union 100 times this source or run the mapping 100 times. Well, that is not a realistic approach. And if you have a loop concept, in any programming, you can do in one shot. That you can do using Java. Okay. So now I am going to create a let me keep into expression. This is just for sake of consolidation I am taking column. So now every record will come to, okay, one by one. So here I want to write a Java program here, okay, to take one record, produce 100 records. Okay. So whenever you use Java transformation, okay, it can be active passive. What is active passive? Passive means the same, we should give same thing. In obfuscation we can use it. Encrypted programs that are calling, a record will come, mask it and then throw it. In that case, passive. Active means any less or more. So I want 100 records. What should be the active? So you can select anything. I am selecting. Okay, and when you click it, you will just see the column names, ports, these are the columns, and properties, some Java related properties are there and some code is there. So now first I am doing, I am just going here and then selecting and creating some columns. Just take, let me take IN. You can drag also, but right now I am just selecting this. So employee number is the number. String, where is string? If you want, I can convert them here as an integer. Then we can take as the decimal also, no problem, but unnecessarily the points will come over there. Okay, and now I can link employee number and I can link employee name, then salary. So three columns are going to, it is like when you write a Java program, what is that you write in a basic, first thing whenever you are writing, first you define a variable. It is like in your Java program you are defining three variables, kind of a variable declaration. Okay. So now if you go, how many outputs you want? Okay. You want the same column as output. Okay. Right now you have selected here, nothing is there. If you select this only input, okay, and whenever you create a column, so right now only input is there. If you want same data to go to the right side, okay, so you can create them here. Rather than you creating there, you can create here, you can choose input output. But if you want to restrict only for input purpose, you can select this way. Both are fine. Okay. So now here I am saying out, or I can select both all in one also, no problem. it's your choice. I can just delete it, I can keep input output also. There is nothing wrong in that one. Okay. Now when you go to, this is the column will come to this. So now you have to write when a value comes, they will be sitting in these three variables. So now in the bottom you write what program you want, and then you output what program you want. Okay. So on your Java code, it will show you what are the columns are coming as an input, what are the columns you define as output. Okay. All input ports, those are like a variables for you. And these are all again another variables. Okay. Those are the something for you. Then some formulas also here. So now whatever program you write, so right now it is completely blank, nothing is there. So whatever program you write, that program will be running, executing for every one line it comes. When every row which comes to the Java, this program will be executed. That will throw the output. Okay. So now I am writing a simple program here. Generally, we write a normal Java, you will write import classes, main class and all that, but all that not required. Okay, for integer x equal to 0, x is less than or equal to 10, x plus plus. This is one for loop in the Java. I am defining integer x here itself, and x equals 0, x is less than or equal to 10, and x plus plus. So this loop will run for 10 times, starting from 0 to 9. Okay, up to 10, 11, it is the 11, anything, whatever you want. Okay. So now I am just writing what is the output it will throw? Out underscore emp number. So what value you want to throw to this column, you just write like this. Whatever coming from the input, I am just assigning to the left side. It is a variable, that is also variable. So whatever is there, I am just throwing here. And then here also output then in addition to this, I want to generate one more column which I want to take from the so x value 0. So every time when I am pushing that which loop number we are throwing, so I am just trying to capture just for numbering purpose. Okay. So now when I get one record, one row, and that I am repeating for, and the same whatever is coming, just throwing 10 times outside. Okay. So it is one basic simple example, but if you want to write any other calculation also you can do. You can do salary plus, if you want to do cumulative sum, okay, previously, currently, all the very basic Java program you can do here. Okay. So now one record comes and we are running the loop for 10 times. In every loop I am pushing same value to the right side. So one record will be thrown 10 times. So whenever you want to indicate Informatica that, okay, this is your Java program. So Java will throw the output. When Java output throws, and that should come to Informatica, and Informatica should capture that record. So means there is an integration link required from the Java to Informatica. So here we have one command called generate row. Okay. So this is a built-in, written in Java but written by Informatica itself. So whenever you say the generate row, it is really push data value to Informatica from here, and otherwise it will not. Will be throwing, but it will not be captured to the right side from the transformation. So that is the reason you have to use generate row. So for every line we are generating. If you do next transformation, Java code is running. Java will throw output to the console, but it should capture. So this is making to go to the next transformation. Okay. If you don't do it, then it will run, but data will not come. Okay. So now I'll say apply. Now just to verify, okay, now Java code compile also successful. So I have just written it, and even if you want to see full code, you can see like this. Means this is the piece I have written, but Informatica will ensure that all your packages included, your main program written, and all the necessary validations which you want to suppose to write, everything is written here. And finally your program is here. Okay, we already compiled, but again I am compiling, so done. If you want to do comparison, if null, I want to keep something, if condition, everything you can write. All Java program you can write in that block. So now I want to take this output and throw to the outside. So now you can create a workflow as usual. This is the source database and the target is a file. Okay, so Java 1 written. You see every record written how many times? So when record comes, your loop is running. Record comes, you are running the loop and throwing multiple records. This is not possible in Informatica. And means in a simple way, whenever you need a loop programming, Java is the solution. So if you know this is, that's all. You don't need to try to practice or don't do it. If you know this, why Java? For loop programming purpose. That's itself. And in the same way, we have one more transformation, which is SQL. What SQL does? So now I am running the mapping again. Where this SQL will be useful? So now I am running the mapping. Source is coming. Some data is coming from here, and we do some logic, and then finally when the data will be inserted into target? Last year, dead end is your target. And sometimes if you have a requirement, when your mapping is running, in between I want to insert the data and still continue your logic. Okay, so that is not possible. Means only the insertion update in the mapping can happen only in the dead end. There is no way. Okay, but in case you want to do the insertion in between and then load it, and other case, people sometimes will ask an interview also. I am loading the data and then it is loading data to database. Generally, whatever database error throws, okay, that error generally Informatica will fail and saying that one line. But in sometimes, what is the exact error code for every line which is getting, and that error code I want to capture and put it somewhere. So that will be there in the log randomly, okay, in session log. But when you are loading data to, let's say when you are working on a very sensitive data, when you are loading the data, in case some failure happened on the database, okay, so what is the error log thrown by the database I want to capture and put it somewhere. Still your this SQL will be helpful here. Okay, so SQL can help you to write a valid SQL statement in between anywhere in the mapping. There is no restriction that data has to be inserted. Any SQL means it can be insert or update or even select also. I can place that commands in the SQL. But when you are placing this, you can use it for insert purpose or update purpose or any purpose. So in between, if you want to insert at the end, already target is there. But if you want to insert in between, this transformation can help. Okay. So again, I am just doing a simple exercise here. I am just again reading data from a table. So this data I just want to insert into another employee table. Okay, to do that, what I am doing. Here I am just creating one transformation SQL. Again, it is asking couple of things. Query mode, script mode. What is query and script mode means? Query mode means I will keep my queries in the mapping here itself. Script mode means you can write your commands in outside in a file and take that file name and keep it here. Means where you write your SQL command, whether within this mapping or outside. Okay, so you can choose. Right now I am choosing query mode. Okay, what type of database? Oracle. Okay, static dynamic connection. Okay, static means always when I am firing these queries, the connection will be same always. Sometimes you want to change the connections when your mapping is running dynamically. So again, still you can use any connection which comes from there. Okay, so static only. So now in this case, what I am planning to do, I just want to take the data from here, okay, and then whatever comes to here, let's say employee number is coming. Okay, this is your employee number and employee name. We are all taking 3 inputs, and whatever input comes here, this I want to insert into one table, okay, and this output I don't need here, or I can take the output here. So this is employee number, employee name, salary is coming, and this is your output. and these are the property SQL ports. Okay, employee number, employee name, salary are coming. Okay, and then it is just throwing outside. Okay, so only thing is whenever you are doing this, mostly for every column these are the data types specific to Informatica. But whenever you are using these columns, data comes to this SQL, 3 columns are there. This data I want to insert into one table. So what I can do, I can just take this column. First thing is you have to choose this column is equivalent to what column in your database. This column is equivalent to this is equivalent to number. So that is mandatory, you have to select it. So this is not required. So you are taking the data from here. This is Informatica data type, but in equivalent, because you are going to keep this data in the database. Okay, what should be your equivalent number, data type in the database? So I am just taking it 3 inputs, and here I will create one table. So now I have one table created, EMP SQL 68. Okay, now whatever data comes to here, I just want to insert. So double click, and when you go to ports here, these are the common things are there. Properties, SQL settings, and SQL ports. Okay, in the SQL ports, you will have a section called SQL query here. So this is the place where you can write your commands. Okay, say what I want to do, insert into EMP SQL 68 values. What are the values? First column is employee number, second column is employee name, third column is salary. Data will come inside, that I am inserting into this table with my own SQL commands. Means whatever comes it will get inserted. After that I can still take those values and take to expression transformation. So all these columns, whatever they are coming, I am writing to expression, and then this I can write to a file. Then I am also writing, okay, whatever error log comes whenever it is trying to insert or not inserting, so that also I can write it to another file. Okay, so for that I am just creating one target here. In this I just want only error in case if there is any error, and I am creating one more target. This I want to when the mapping is running, if there are any errors, in case you want to track, you can put into a file so that you can see all the errors over here. And your mapping will still continue, and then you can link them to storage. So this way, I'm in between, I'm doing the database activities, capture the error, and still I'll continue. But so here I'm inserting, but in a normal case without this, if you want to insert, the only at the dead end you can insert, but in between you cannot insert. Okay, so that is the benefit of the should be SQL. Source qualifier as usual, and this is a file which it talks about the error in case if there are any errors. And this is a file which actually stores your final output, which you are whatever you are throwing to the outside. And then again we are doing SQL operation also. You have to choose, okay, again connection for this also, because this is again database only. Okay, so now I just created a table. So now we didn't have any data here. So it might have inserted data to this table. What we have inserted. When this is successfully inserted, then only I am writing, taking and then doing thing and then doing. If it is anything failure, it will not go. Means before target itself I am doing insertion and again doing some calculation. Based on the success of the insertion, I may want to do something else. Okay, and then but otherwise in normal, without this your target is a deadline. If you want to do that in a normal method, you have to create two mappings. First you do this and then again one more. Again still the complete error log you will not get it. In case if there is any error, that you can see in the error, let's say SQL output. So this is, we are taking the output, our own output, and SQL error. If any error is there, you will get it. So there is no error here. In case you have any error, you will get it from this one. That is SQL transformation. Okay, we have seen SQL, we have seen Java. Okay, so now this dynamic lookup and all training, that will see one. That you can take 2-3 classes.